Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Guman saying top in this newscast. 5 former candidates have officially filed a lawsuit in district court. As of late Tuesday afternoon, the candidates submitted their complaint, which cites the Joint Board of Elections, Supervisor of Elections, Rupert Ross, and Alecia Wells as the defendants. The plaintiffs' complaints began some 3 months ago, before votes were even cast. News 2's Erica Bivens has details.
A group of candidates has raised questions and filed numerous challenges with the Board of Elections regarding the election process over the last 3 months, putting to rest any notion this is a case of sore losers.
And it's not any personal conflict, it is that we need to stop and take a hold of ourselves. And we cannot continue with the status quo by which we operate. The people of the Virgin Islands, really, a great injustice is being done to the voters in these islands.
Wilma Marsh Monsanto, along with Norma Picard Samuel, Lawrence Olive, Diane McGrath, and Harriet Mercer, are named the plaintiffs in their complaint filed in district court on Tuesday. The defendants listed include the Joint Board of Elections, St. Croix and St. Thomas St. John District Board of Elections, Chairpersons Rupert Ross and Alecia Wells, and Supervisor of Elections John Abramson.
Every law in the book, on the books, have been broken as it pertains to the election system.
The complaint references those laws in VI code, with the latest arguing for a new election by default after the St. Thomas St. John District Board failed to establish a quorum to address their petition for a recount. Monsanto, who was a territory-wide candidate, did not have her petition addressed by either district.
I feel very confident that the courts would hear and the courts would take the necessary action to bring law and order. It's about time.
The plaintiffs are also asking for a court order to conduct a new election on a one-page paper ballot to be counted at the polls on election night in public view until all ballots are counted. For News 2, I'm Erica Bivens.
A former candidate on St. Croix told News 2 they decided not to pursue the lawsuit because they could not afford the $350 court filing fee. We will keep you updated. In other election news, online voting begins tonight at midnight for the GESC Health Insurance Board. The Director of Personnel is asking employees who are members of the government's group health plan to visit dopusvi.org to vote online, or you can call 877-800-6160. You will be asked to provide your employee number and the last 4 digits of your Social Security. Voting ends Friday at noon. 1 employee will be elected from each district to serve as a board member. Senators and the staff of the 29th legislature will not be having a Christmas party this year. Senate President Ronald Russell sent a memo to the staff offering well wishes and advising staffers that the Christmas and Appreciation Party the Senate usually hosts won't happen this year because of tight finances. The Senate President also granted more than 2 weeks administrative leave to everyone, giving them December 24th to January 8th off. News 2 will have more on that. Continuing our coverage of Senator Alvin Williams Jr. and his corruption case, 1 defendant has filed motions to dismiss their charges. According to court documents, Ace Development Inc. is seeking to have the charges against them dismissed for several reasons, including lack of criminal capacity under federal and local law. News 2's Alison Bourne-Verneck has more and explains.
Just weeks after Ace Development Inc. made its first appearance in district court, the company is now seeking to have its charges dismissed. Ace Development Inc., along with Senator Alvin Williams Jr. and 2 other defendants, all face several charges that include corruption, bribery, mail fraud, and wire fraud. All have pled not guilty. Ace Development Inc., which is operated by the father of Senator Williams, seeks to have counts 2, 3, and 4 dismissed. According to these court documents, counts 2 and 3 involve defendant Alvin Williams Jr. withdrawing funds from a bank account associated with Ace Development Inc. and offering a bribe to that contracting company for future contracts. But attorney George Hodge Jr. argues that Ace Development Inc. is not charged as an enterprise in those counts. Hodge continues to discuss mens rea, which is Latin for guilty mind, and he writes, quote, "The corporate entity cannot be criminally charged under VI law with the mens rea of its officers unless charged as an enterprise involved in conspiracy and racketeering." Hodge writes that the only enterprise named in the racketeering and corruption indictment is the Virgin Islands legislature. He says, quote, This imputed criminal liability is strictly forbidden under local law unless defendant Ace is the enterprise. George also writes that Ace Development, Inc. does not fall within the definition of territorial officer and employee, with responsibilities in regards to the conflict of interest laws of the Virgin Islands, which are alleged in Count 4. Allison Bourne-Vanack, News 2.
News 2 will keep you updated on court proceedings and developments as this case unfolds. A 70-year-old man was shot and killed Tuesday on St. Thomas. Police say family members of the victim, identified as Michael Greer, heard a single gunshot outside their home in Estate Thomas around 9:45 p.m. When they went outside, they found the injured Greer. Another witness told police he heard a struggle and then the gunshot. Other witnesses reported seeing a man in a white shirt running away from the scene. Greer was taken to the hospital but later died of his injuries. Police urge anyone with information to call detectives or Crime Stoppers. Meanwhile, police on St. Croix arrested a 31-year-old man and charged him with possession of an unlicensed firearm. Police conducting saturated patrols on December 9th in Frederickstead observed a group of men. One man, later identified as Vernon Huggins, began to run away when he saw officers and was subsequently apprehended. Police found a loaded 9mm handgun in his pocket. Huggins was also charged with failure to report a firearm and possession or sale of ammunition. A group of people playing dominoes outside the Embers guest house in Contant were robbed on December 10th. The three victims told police they were playing dominoes when a man approached them, pointed a gun, and demanded money. The suspect took cash, a female victim's gold chain, and her cell phone, then fled the area on foot. Witnesses described the man as slim, close to 6 feet tall, and wearing a black shirt with blue jeans and a black mask over his face. Police urge anyone with information to call detectives or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. Crime Stoppers is seeking information to help local law enforcement with a number of crimes in the territory. If you know something, say something, and you can earn a cash reward up to $2,500. News 2's Janisha John brings us this week's Crime Stoppers report.
This week, Crime Stoppers needs your help to solve a number of assaults and a robbery in the territory. Your help with even the smallest bit of information may earn you a cash reward up to $2,500. On St. Croix, police are looking for armed robbers that entered an Estate Wim home on December 5th. Suspects held the resident at gunpoint and spoke in patois, demanding that she gave all her money. The suspects, who were dressed in masks and dark clothing, then fled after taking cash from her purse and home. Minimum reward for an arrest of an armed robber is $900. On St. John, officers are investigating an assault that took place just minutes before midnight on November 6th at the Island Blues Bar in Coral Bay. The victim reported that someone struck him in the head with an unknown object, and then 6 other men attacked him. Police are also investigating another assault case on St. Thomas, where a man was found face down in a pool of blood on the ladies' floor of Megan's Bay Beach. The man was admitted to the hospital for trauma to his head and upper body, as well as a broken nose. Minimum reward for arrests in these cases is $900. Crime Stoppers asks that you be a part of the solution in making the community a safer one by submitting information on these or any other crimes by calling 1-800-222-TIPS or by visiting www.crimestoppersusvi.org. For News 2, I'm Janisha John with your weekly Crime Stoppers report.
Turn our attention stateside. Republican and White House staffers are still working behind closed doors to avoid that fiscal cliff. Publicly, leaders from both sides are digging in and don't sound any closer to a deal. Danielle Nottingham has the latest from Washington.
House leaders are warning lawmakers the fiscal cliff fight could drag on through the holidays.
We're going to stay here right up until Christmas Eve, throughout the time and period before the new year, because we want to make sure that we resolve this in an acceptable way for the American people.
Even after exchanging revised offers, Republicans aren't budging in their demands for more spending cuts, and the White House isn't budging on taxes going up for the wealthiest Americans.
The President has made that clear, and he will not sign a bill that extends tax cuts for the top 2%.
As the clock ticks closer to the deadline, both sides are trying to rally public support. Republicans organized this event on Capitol Hill to highlight the impact on families if the country goes over the fiscal cliff. South Dakota Congresswoman Kristi Noem is getting an earful from worried voters in her district.
Every weekend when I go home, that's the questions I get. How do I know what taxes I'm going to pay next year? How do I budget? A lot of them are farmers. They don't even know if they should purchase seed for next year.
Democrats want Republicans to drop their tax cut demands and move on to other parts of the negotiations.
It's getting really stale. It's getting really old. And the closer we get to Christmas, it's really getting boring.
If lawmakers and the president don't find a compromise, taxes for all Americans will go up, and across-the-board spending cuts will kick in on January 1st. Danielle Nottingham, News 2.
Meanwhile, keeping our eye on the economy, Honda is recalling more than 800,000 minivans and SUVs in the U.S. because they can roll away even though drivers have removed the key. The recall affects older model Odyssey minivans, Pilot SUVs, and Acura MDXs. 2 minor injuries have been reported. Owners will be notified in February, and Honda dealers will fix the problem for free. This is the New York Stock Exchange, the Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. The Dow down 2, NASDAQ 8, S&P up. Coming up on News 2, good news. A missing teen has been located and returned safely after reports of her disappearance. Details. Plus, if you're in the mood for some tasty soups, then we have the cure for that. The annual Soup to Cure fundraising event is coming up. We'll tell you what's on the menu. A missing girl from St. Croix has been located. Youth Investigation Bureau detectives have reported the missing youth, Christina Diaz, has returned home safely. The 16-year-old minor went missing from home on Sunday evening. Detectives said they located Diaz in a state humbug Tuesday evening. The minor left home voluntarily and was found unharmed. Detectives continue to follow up on this case. Experts from the Centers for Disease Control are in the territory this week. According to a press release from the Department of Health, the group is here to assist health officials conduct surveillance and environmental assessments of VI schools. The assessments are supposed to help determine which schools and neighborhoods are most in need of mosquito abatement. But an article in Wednesday's Avis said that the CDC officials said they're here at the Department of Health's invitation to assess the extent of a presumed dengue outbreak. While health officials would not comment to News 2, the latest information on the website shows 69 confirmed cases as of mid-November. Be sure to count on 2 to keep you updated. Junior high and high school students on St. Croix got a chance to see their futures. Well, future careers, that is, as hundreds of students and over 40 agencies attended the 14th annual CTEC Career Fair, an open house to learn about different career paths and job opportunities.
14th annual career fair, and I tell you, it's fabulous. We have over 60 different vendors, agencies, the military, universities. The overall goal of the career fair is to allow our students to dream about what they can be.
We're training tomorrow's entrepreneurs and tomorrow's workforce by doing this. Not only that the feeder schools can see what's being offered here at CTEC, but also the CTEC students can display what they have been learning in the specific skill areas. So it's a wonderful opportunity for the community to come out, as well as parents and students, to see what is being offered by the Department of Education.
If you're in the mood for some of the territory's tastiest soups, we got the cure for you. Then you won't want to miss the 4th annual Soup to Cure. It's a fundraising event for Caribbean Education Initiative and will feature several soup categories. Now, this event takes place at Reminisce Restaurant on St. Croix this Sunday from 3 to 9 p.m. And for St. Thomas residents who want to participate, organizers will ship your soup over to the competition.
Well, Soup to Cure is our 4th annual fundraiser for Caribbean Education Initiative. It's soup to cure the social ills of our community, and it's a very good event. We have lots and lots of competitors, private restaurants as well, and they compete for $1,000, $500 for second place, $250 for third. Every soup is a category, so chicken soup has its own winner, callaloo has its own winner, and then from there we take on the best of the best, and for the money we have the taste test. Some privileged judges from all cultures, and they get the opportunity to select the best soup in the Virgin Islands. And I say Virgin Islands because last year our winner actually was from St. Thomas. Betsy's HO soup was our overall winner, and we had 40 soups competing last year.
It's the century's last sequential date, December 12, 2012. Now, for some, it represents luck. For others, it's a day of romance. For most of us, it was just another Wednesday. Regardless of your beliefs, 12-12-12 comes along with some rather amusing facts and superstitions. This is around the date that the ancient Mayan calendar says that this era of time will end. According to the Mayan, the human race will change. Some have speculated that it will be a change in our politics, culture, climate of the world, or even evolution. Others believe nothing will happen on this date, not even a drastic change in the weather. Speaking of which, Bernie is coming up next with your AccuWeather forecast. We'll be right back.